What's the beat for this jam? Drop the beat. Keep it up now. Keep it up now. To the beat now. Once again, we're gonna pump it. Hyper, hyper. Slowing it down. Slowing it down. Sunshine in the air. Come on, let me see ya. Dance to the rhythm. Dance to the rhythm. Dance to the rhythm. Dance to the rhythm. Has everybody got the breath back? Here we go again.
Open your mind.
Yo,
Hey.
1 2 1 2. How are we doing out there? This is the MK and Bossy show. We are going live for you around the world from Australian Underground Sounds. We have such a episode 3. We've got Mallorca Lee in the studios, ultrasonic, as you would know him. Bossy, how you doing out there?
Doing great, mate. Plenty of sunny days, rooftop parties, and it's all happening down in Melbourne lately. So it's been great.
Mate, I'm coming from sunny old Sydney, swanky Sydney, and I have had the best Easter special and a couple of live streams. And as you said, rooftop parties are the go at the moment. In the background, the old French Swiss hotel. It's spectacular here. Did a couple of shows, and mate, the weather's has come down your town as well. Is that right?
Oh, beautiful. We've had like 30 degrees every day. Today was a bit cooler, but yeah,
Yep.
no, it was great. That your rooftop party in the city, you're killing it, mate. It was great.
Mate, 8 hour exclusive of Master Chaos. What more can I say? I bloody loved it. I had Dario, he's a violinist, play for a live melodic techno set with myself, and
Mate,
people with he was exceptional, and people were surprised. Lots of phones and cameras out and stuff when we got on and did our show. So there's videos on our Facebook page for that. What did you think of it, mate?
Look, I had a great night. I haven't been out for a while since all this COVID and stuff. But look, for anyone that didn't actually get to see it or make it there that night, we have a little clip. So, Derek, chuck it on.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Make some fucking noise!
mate.
Yes, your boy Chaos is back, mate. Rooftop special. Talking about rooftops, I'll be back in Melbourne. I'm in Sydney at the moment, and Pharmacy showed the last season finale. This will be the last of their rooftop because of the weather in Melbourne, and that'll be coming on the 17th of April. So I'll be back there for the 17th, along with Amber Savage. She'll be headlining with myself, Hellraiser. T2, he'd be doing the closing set. We've got Soul T, we've got Ben Evans, we've got Amit as well. So, mate, it's going to be a spectacular show. Another rooftop party while the weather's good. Yes, yeah.
Mate, let's move along to tonight's show, yeah?
Behind the Fame interview, living legend, Ultrasonic, Mallorca Lee. Tell us a bit about him, mate.
Yeah, so Mallorca's been like entertaining the masses for like going on 3 decades now. Voted #1 Scottish Vestax DJ 20 poll 3 years running, which is huge. Been touring the world, Ibiza, doing Creamfields, Gatecrasher, just to name a few. He's and then got on with Ultrasonic and Public Domain. So base in your place,
in the place,
London. Mallorca Lee selling over 5 million records worldwide is quite a thing. So let's bring him on, Derek.
We want to know one thing, Club Kinetic. That's what this place is called, right? Club Kinetic, man? Everybody over this side to the left-hand side. How y'all feeling out there? All right. Everybody over this side, how y'all feeling out there? Now everybody in the house tonight, how do you feel? This is one serious crowd in the house tonight. Respect going out to every one of y'all.
Australia and worldwide, will you please welcome Mallorca Lee, Ultrasonic? How you doing, my friend?
G'day, mate. G'day.
G'day. That's how we say it.
Thanks for having us on.
Oh, thanks for coming on. Such a pleasure. How have you been?
I have been locked down. It's been brilliant just watching the intro there and seeing you guys down under out raving. I'm not jealous whatsoever. You know, it's brilliant to see she's and fucking great weather, which is you've got everything Scotland doesn't have right now, which is
what's the weather over there at the moment?
The weather is shite. That's Scottish weather for you. We're coming into spring. It was snowing yesterday, and the sun's out today, but it's freezing.
Oh,
listen, yeah, it does sound like Melbourne, but I've got a Martin, shout out to you, homeboy, in the Netherlands, and I've been speaking to him the last couple of nights, and he was telling me that it was 26 like on Thursday, and on Friday it was snowing. Right, they had the football, and he sent me a video of like it's still snowing while they were playing, and he showed me outside his place today, still snowing and stuff. So crazy weather and stuff going over there. I've got some great clips from him. So yeah, shout out to you, Martin.
So Mallorca, you've been touring the world for 25 years plus, sold 20 million records. Like when did you realize you had this gift? Like from an early age, were you destined to be an MC DJ?
I wish I had been paid for all 20 million records that have been sold.
Just $1 each. Huh?
I'm kind of slightly freaking myself out here because it looks as if I've got a white beard.
You're Santa Claus. No.
Man, well, December's coming up. I reckon by December I'll be able to work the malls because, you know, if we don't get any gigs, I need to do something, you know. I could get the Santa thing going on. And But no, get back to your question. Like probably, you know, like you guys, like everybody, you know, music was just a passion. I'll always sort of describe it as music was my drug. And it got to a point where, you know, just dabbling in it at the weekends wasn't enough. I had to start sort of making my own and dealing it because my habit was that bad, you know. It's a safe drug, and it's one that I can totally say I'm addicted to, you know. So it's always been my passion. It's always something that I need to get out of my head, something that I need to do. You know, and I'm just lucky in the 90s when the rave scene sort of exploded that I was kicking about at that time, because I think the timing was never planned, but a big part of the momentum and the excitement and the buzz, you know.
Yes. So where did you grow up? Like where did this all happen?
I grew up on the west coast of Scotland, which is sort of central Scotland. And you know, like any sort of small town just outside the city, you know, it was just one of the many satellite towns around Glasgow.
Yep.
We sort of developed our own scene, as well as travelling into the city and further afield to go to raves. But it was a good wee place, man, you know.
Yes, yeah. So how old were you when you realised you know, you could actually make something of this? When it went from partying, listening to music to actually being real.
I don't know. I mean, I always found it hard to call what I'd done music as a job. You know, it was only until maybe about 10 years ago I actually realised this is what I do for a living.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to do that since the 90s. But there wasn't really a time when I thought, wow, this is my job. You know, it was always just like, I was just very fortunate to do something that I loved. And the money never came into it. Obviously, money buys you time. That's really what it does when you write music, you know. And it just allows you the time to focus on doing music.
I love that. Money buys you time. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, all of it. I wish it did buy you time. I wouldn't be sitting here with a grey beard, you know, literally. But it buys you the time to focus on music without worrying about paying electricity bills and buying food and stuff like that, you know. So right. That's what I mean by it buys you time.
It's a very time consuming industry, that's for sure.
Definitely. I mean, especially now for people coming through. When I started, you just had to be able to write music, but now I think artists or DJs, whatever you want to call them, they need to be able to sort of DJ, write music, web designer, fucking online promotions. You know, it's multifaceted now. You know,
it is.
Something like guys like me have took years to sort of learn, but you know, coming straight in as a young player now, so much to take on board. You know, sometimes the music gets pushed to the side, you know, because it's all about Instagram and pumping your muscles. When
Shout
it should really be about the music.
I just got some. Yeah. Anyway, long story short, but people in Melbourne know. There's. I just got a manager that does all that stuff, just helping out with Australian underground sounds and promoting all this and promoting this event today. So you know, we just want to be the creative aspect of it, but as you said, you do need to do all this social media and all this craziness. So you've got to be
behind the scenes. What you actually see on screen is it doesn't even scratch the surface, really, does it?
Well, that's always the case, isn't it? You know, like I do a couple of podcasts myself. You know, I'm making music, and it's almost like all these things take you away from writing music, but they're in many ways as equally as an important part, because you know, I know how much time and effort goes into you guys putting this show together.
Yep.
But somebody on the other side is just watching a cool show. You know, they just think it's like a 5-minute thing. You know, you guys just turn up, switch a button on, and it's away. But that's one of the many frustrations. But you guys enjoy doing it, and that's kind of like the reward on it, isn't it?
Yes, that's totally the reward. It's that's why we're doing it. So so your influences growing up, like what did you used to be into, and who did you used to watch?
Like talking Let's Go school days, like what did you first get into, and how did you get into it? Because it usually changes around then.
Well, for me, the biggest sort of cultural change in music for me as a teenager was hip hop. That Run DMC, Public Enemy, Beastie Boys. Yeah, right. That really, you know, to be able to be into a scene as it's just sort of starting, and and latching onto that. That was my first sort of feeling of identity with music, that it spoke to me, and it was people of my age making it. It was the first sort of concerts I got to go and see, like legendary Def Jam tours with Beastie Boys, LL Cool J, Run DMC, Public Enemy. You know, like getting to see those shows as the scene was developing. You know, mix that in with like skateboarding, BMX, and just a lot of sort of teenage sort of groups, cultures, breakdancing, electro.
Yep, all
that just all the right things, man. It just kind of gave me that sense of this is my shit, you know. And then as
say that again. This is my shit.
This is my shit. Can I swear? Is it okay? This is my beep. I don't know, you know. So
you can swear here. That's fine.
Yeah. So I mean, and then coming out hip hop, electro with the breakdancing sort of came in, and then I sort of, my friends went more into hip hop, and I drifted more into electro and acid house, and then that music really became my punk rock, as in I felt like I could make that music. I wanted to make that music. Anything's possible. And then I never really got confident enough to make music until a few years into acid house, and then the rave scene sort of kicked off, and I viewed that as like the bastard son of hip hop and house music.
Yes,
you know, and this was mine.
Can you tell us more about the acid house? Because the acid house scene, not, you know, a lot of the newbies would know acid house back then. You know, tell us about talk about the era, please, and what you like about it, and what sort of, you know, for the people that don't know, what sort of genre is it?
I guess it's essentially it's house music, but with the introduction of a famous synthesizer, which is a Roland TB-303, which makes all the squelchy, bubbly bass lines. Again, a machine that I took from acid house and planted it into the music I was making with ultrasonic.
We'll talk a bit more about that with Hardcore Never Dies.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so
we'll get into that.
Acid house was really music made by everyday people, you know. It was cheap equipment, and it was people just trying to make music that they wanted to make, you know, with that punk rock ethos. I'll keep going back to that, because that, what I mean by that is punk rock was the first sort of music style that just said to everybody, you can do this, pick up a guitar. Acid house done that for dance music, where it wasn't some overproduced R&B slick thing you'd see on the television. This was gritty, it was real, it was done by people of the same age. Again, I was at the right age. I was like 17, 18, coming into clubs, and feeling sort of alienated with the music, pop music that was getting played. And then acid house and stuff was like this new thing. It could have came from Mars, you know, but it was my thing, you know, and that's what me and my friends latched onto. And I think in many ways, that's the music that changed the world.
Wasn't it? That 303 sound, and still prominent to today, and fucking, you know, touch wood. It's just the best brand
now. It's everywhere. The 303 is just.
It's amazing how it's had its cycles. No, it's amazing how it's had its cycles, and it's come back, and it's a bloody weapon of a machine. And you know, they're going for pretty expensive, and the devilfish mod, and bloody all the rest of it. You know, hard to come by. So
I think it was Australian guys that did the devilfish mod on the 303s. Yeah, I remember touring Australia in the early 90s and actually try to hunt the guys down that did it to see if they would do it with 1 hour, but we never found them. Too busy partying, I think.
So we don't want to talk about coronavirus too much, but how's that going for you up over there? Are you still in a lockdown? Are you
Yeah, bizarrely, the UK is still in a lockdown. We're kind of obviously seen the clips that you guys shared. I've got lots of friends over in Australia that I keep in touch with on a daily basis. So it's been fantastic seeing things loosening up, and promoters starting to promote, DJs starting to DJ, you know, musicians starting to play. It's brilliant.
Yes.
We are still a good few months behind, with the hope of June, July, possibly getting back. But there's also this still a kind of grey cloud hanging over people still saying you'll be lucky to do anything until the end of the year. So we're still in lockdown. We're still restricted in travel. It's only, I think it's like a maximum of 3 houses can meet outside. So you still can't officially visit people indoors. It's been a trying
trying time.
14 months, whatever. It's been really, really tough, People have had to sort of dig deep.
Yeah.
I think the times also gave people a lot of time to rediscover, I don't know,
themselves.
things that themselves. Exactly. Yeah, that's a great. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, one thing that females over here, we're pretty fortunate because they've actually found that sex with a DJ.
We've cured COVID over here, haven't we, Bossy?
Yeah, and it's a thing. I don't know if it's the same with the DJs over in the UK and stuff, but definitely in Australia, sex with a DJ cures coronavirus. So
sex with a DJ. Oh, okay, right. Well,
CNN, mate. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Amazing.
Must be true.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, here there's no any gigs for it, so nobody knows who's a DJ. It's just guys walking about with beards, messy hair.
Headphones on.
Pretending to be Santa Claus and no.
If they should see guys that look like strange mountain dwellers, can cure
mountain goats.
I might have a bit more a shot. I don't know.
Let's move.
It looks great, man. This is freaking me out.
Nah,
you'll be right. You're still only 35, so you're doing well.
Yeah. Well, I all kicked off for me when I was about 3 years old, so I'm actually only about 25 right now. So
Oh well.
Listen, I know you've done it. I know you've done a lot of tours in Australia. How many would you say that you've done?
Is that better? Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think.
Yeah, that's it, mate. You look 15 years younger already.
Yeah, I look about 12.
In your 20s. Listen, I think I knew you were in your 20s because when I started out, I was raving in Brisbane at 16 years old, and I was in Brisbane, Vegas. I was in Brisbane, Vegas back then, and Ultrasonic was like Die Witness and Ultrasonic. You guys were all the bloody, we're all fanboys of you guys, and then that's what got me into DJing. And then I hit Melbourne, and I started touring and doing bits and pieces. And you and I played at Chasers under the Base Station banner. Do you remember that? Base Station Chasers, Chapel Street, South Yarra, Toorak.
What kind of year?
Sick venue. Shit. 2000 and Derek, where are you, mate? Probably 2004, 2005, maybe 2000.
It was actually 2002, KK.
Oh, yeah. Shit, that long. Yeah, thank you very much.
Four-way.
Yeah, it's a 4-way. Yeah, no more thruple. Yeah. So
that'll be in the next rave review.
Yeah. Thanks, Cesar. So we,
Where did they go? Is this like a magic trick?
Where did it go? So Derek's our production manager at the moment. He's pressing all the buttons, and
sorry. I can't remember that specific gig, but I remember Bris Vegas and touring from the early 90s at Roxy to,
that's where I saw you.
I think it was Australia.
That's where I saw you at the Roxy, and a couple of years ago. So I think it was last year. Shout out to my homeboy Jacko, Agent Chaos. He wrote to you, and so you came over and did a tour here 1 or 2 years ago. I think it was last year. It would have been last year, January. And you didn't do a Melbourne show, and we saw you in Melbourne because I played there with you. And then you did only, I think you did a Sydney, Brisbane, and maybe an Adelaide show. So Jacko wrote to you, and you got us on the door for the VIP entrance. And you were playing with Pee Wee Ferris. He toured from Sydney, and we saw you up in Vegas. So thank you very much. He's been made in a chair and stuff like that, and you guys looked after him. You got plenty of T-shirts and merchandise. You remember?
I remember now you say that. Yep. And you
that was Jacko and myself.
Yeah, let's call it $50. I'll send you the PayPal. No, but I do. I remember. I do actually remember now you say that. The party. It was a bit. It was a bit of a small party. It was a bit of a letdown. I think the venue they never sold enough for the big room, so we moved it to the wee room. But you know, if I'm playing to 100 people or 100,000, it's still the same energy. And
dude, it was really
I appreciate
good.
it.
And you did, and you slayed it that night. Like, listen, I'm a DJ myself, but you slayed it that night. I took a lot of good video clips, and you definitely, from this Connecticut CD, it was bloody phenomenal. So I hadn't listened to it for years, and it was great. It was really, really good. So So as long as it's $50, not £50, where it's okay.
Yeah, well, we'll see how well, you know. I mean, to answer your question, I think 21 times or 22 times I've toured Australia now, which is quite a lot on the arse when that's you know, traveling that long distance. That's why I've got a grey beard now. It's fucking
I think I had on there something like you've toured Australia like 16 times or something.
Yeah, it's over 20 now. I think it's 22 times.
Wow.
So you said on that tour that was your last show in Australia. Is that the truth, Mallorca Lee?
Yeah, I mean, I was wanting to just put together a sort of final kind of tour, just because the distance and the travelling, it is quite a lot.
Australia's not far. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. I see if I had a TARDIS or some kind of time travelling device. It could be a small watch. I don't know. It would be brilliant, but unfortunately, that's not the case. So that was the idea, you know, to do one last tour. But I don't think we actually officially said it was going to be the last tour.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, you did, but well, you can do one more. I'm sure. Would you like to hear one more? Come on.
There's definitely one more.
It would need to be, if I did do another tour, I think it would be further down the line, and it would just need to be the right time, because try to fit it into what is a hectic schedule in the first place. You know, I love the crowds. I would go over every weekend if I could. It's just not physically possible. But never say never. But technically, that was going to be my last tour. Again, I had lockdown and missing gigs for over a year. Yeah, I don't even know how I'd feel. I don't know how I'd feel about traveling now. You know, because I cut down a lot of my traveling, but then add this fucking mad COVID stuff to it. And
are you going to get the jab so you can travel? Because I know a lot of countries are saying if you get the jab, then you can go overseas. So would you do it?
Yeah, I'm not rushing to get it, you know. But if it means I need to do it, I've got family in Italy, so I would do it just to be able to travel to Italy if I needed to. But I'm not rushing to get it. I don't sign up for like flu jabs. I've never took a flu jab. I just let my body fight it. So I'm now I'm on that with the COVID jab, but again, I don't know too much about it. I know a lot of people are getting it. You know, I just want to get to the other side and everything to be okay. So
yeah, sure. Now you were talking about your busy schedule, and so can you tell us about the day in the life of Mallorca Lee?
A day in the life.
Yeah.
Wake up, get out of bed.
What time is it where you are now for the viewers? Right now
it's midday.
Midday.
12 o'clock exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So you just got out of bed, or?
No. I got up. I've got a couple of young kids, so I dropped my son off, and so for me, I've again lockdown. I moved house, which was I don't really have a studio as such just now. It's more like a corner of a room I've commandeered, because I've just not been able to build the studio because everything's on hold. We even try to get workers in and stuff. That happened just as we moved. So I've got a very basic studio setup that I basically sit at every day, and try to write music as much as I can each day. Also, like we spoke about earlier, you know, you're doing web design. You know, I run online shops. I do a couple of podcasts. So
you're doing a lot.
It's all just being creative, you know. I do a lot of painting now as well. For the last 10 years, I've been painting, you know, abstract mad shit.
Yeah, and
that's
the
been going
Bossy,
really well.
Bossy showed me it, and it is fantastic. We'll go into some of that later. We've got a couple of clips and stuff for you, special by Bossy. So
move along and let's Ultrasonic and Roger Hughes. Like,
Yep.
how did your life change when you and Roger got together?
It was great because it was a bizarre meeting that Roger was a supply teacher at my younger brother's high school. And for some bizarre reason, my younger brother and Roger got talking about dance music because, again, at that time, it was very much like it was only certain people that done it, and depending on who you spoke to, they would think you were like a weirdo or a druggie if you were into like dance music.
Yes. Yep.
So he just managed to
Secret society it was.
Yeah, it was definitely that. You know, I remember going to parties and all that, and you know, people treating you differently because you were one of the ravey guys or the guys that like dance music, because they were very much dressed up in suits and going out for a drink to either have a fight or a shag. You know, it was a mad kind of mixy. So anyway, he spoke to him and said, "Oh, my brother makes music," and he was, "Oh, all right, cool. I do as well." So then my brother suggested that we meet, and again, that was so out of character for me, but there wasn't internet back then, so to meet somebody who made music and had an interest in synthesizers and electronic dance music, you know, chatting and talking and meeting people was the only sort of information sharing that we had back then. So we hooked up, we met, and then, you know, we were just talking synthesizers. To anybody else, we must have sounded like two robots, you know, just saying, "Oh, do you know 106 TB303?" That was the kind of chat, you know. It was just this hungry, any kind of synth talk and bands, and then we just kind of got together and from the off started writing music, which was kind of bizarre, you know, like no even having a friendship or a relationship. It was just
both
like,
writing music at the time.
Yeah. Roger was actually in, I don't know if you know another Scottish band called Q-Tex, Scott Brown's band.
Oh, okay. Scott Brown. No, Scott Brown. But
Roger was in an early sort of version of Q-Tex.
Yep.
And then he went his separate ways, and then we hooked up, started making music with no thoughts other than just writing music, you know. And then we started doing a couple of small shows, and then we did one big illegal rave in a farmer's barn for about 1,000 people. And every gig we just made up a name. And for some, I used to build hard drives, and the hard drives were cleaned in a machine that used ultrasonic sound waves to clean.
Yes.
And I just thought, that's fucking cool how sound can clean. So we called ourselves Ultrasonic at that gig. The gig was a success, as it was the biggest we'd played. So we sort of decided to keep that name.
Wow.
And then obviously just kept churning music out until we got a track signed.
That's fantastic. And now moving on to public domain. Tell us more about Bass in the Face. That was a huge tune in Melbourne, Bay Station. We rocked that tune for bloody years. It's still going now. So
nightclubs everywhere. That was that was worldwide.
I mean,
it was iconic. It was iconic. Yeah, very much in Australia for sure.
Yeah, it was great to be involved in that project. Again, Roger and I had sort of parted company early 2000s. My friend Mark Sherry was DJing and started sort of writing music, and he asked me if I would do some vocals on a track that he'd written. And essentially I didn't want to do it because I was like, I've done that with Ultrasonic, and I was trying to do different sort of styles of music. I was very much sort of pushing trance and progressive house, as in progressive house of the late 90s, early 2000s, not like what you'd perceive progressive house as now.
Yep.
So I had a few labels running, and I didn't want to do it. And my wife said, my wife now, she wasn't at the time, she was just one of the many, you know. She said to me, she said, "Listen, Mark's your friend, why don't you do it?" So I done the vocals in my studio, sent them back the DAT tape, and they freaked out, you know, and it just fucking blew up. The next call I had was, "You want to do Top of the Pops," which was a huge music show in the UK. And I was like, listen, guys, I'm not really want to get into this unless we do it right. You know, it's got to be a band. I don't want to be the like a mad PA, you know, a commercial PA. I said, we need to bring all the shit for the rave. I had already been working and touring with like a full band in another project I had done. So I brought in guitarists and bass players. And we really made a sort of hybrid of what I had done with Ultrasonic and all the new stuff that I'd done. And we sort of put an album together and sort of toured it, and raves, and also things like the Reading and the Leeds festivals, big rock festivals. And we got a good few years touring of that over in Australia as well. And then I got to a point again where I just wasn't, I felt I wasn't pushing myself far enough musically. So I sort of took myself out of the public domain setup and just concentrated on my own stuff at about 2003, 2004.
Yeah, right.
Because as much as I like doing it, it was too much pressure from record companies and all that to keep doing the same thing, you know? You weren't allowed to expand and do new shit.
Your answer to that, MLXL?
Yeah, I mean, that was just a small digital label that I set up just so as I didn't need. I've always been very anti-record label, no establishment, but, you know, I hate sending anything to any label and the guy says, I love it, could you just turn up the hi-hats? And you're just like, fuck off, man, you know, this is my tune, this is how I've wrote it, this is what I'm happy with, take it or leave it. So I've worked with some labels that I'm friends with and I know that they're cool with my stuff, but most of the stuff I just put out myself because ultimately I want to be the guy that decides if it's good or not, you know?
Yeah, sure.
So hardcore will never die. I come across a little clip and you look like a little kid in a candy shop. You were talking about finding your finding something in your cupboard. That's the
looks bloody beautiful.
That is awesome. But the excitement and the passion in your face, you're telling this story, how you've accidentally come across all these recordings from what was it? Was it mid-90s? Mid-90s?
Yeah.
You recorded all that?
The recording started from 94 until 97. These tapes, and again, that was, you know, I guess I've got a global pandemic to thank for that, you know, which is fucking totally bizarre. But anyway, in moving house, I had all my stuff. My studio was in storage, and I took it all to my new house to build my studio, which is still on pause. But so, like, I found myself with all this time, no gigs, and I just started sort of going through all my stuff, all my studio equipment. You know, I was finding press cuttings. I was even finding equipment that I'd fucking forgot that I had. It was in a box, and then I found all our old recordings, and again I was listening to them with nothing but nostalgia making me do it.
Yep.
I started finding some tracks that I'd forgotten all about, and I was like, fucking hell, I totally can't remember, you know, that track. And then I would be like, oh yeah, okay, I remember it now. And one track led to another. Then I very quickly found, just through my excitement, I found in all these recordings that I hadn't heard in over 25 years or whatever. I was like, fuck, that's the album that we wrote after we left our old record label. And so we wrote this album after Global Techno.
This all on the TB303? All the old school?
I mean, I think, again, 3/4, maybe more of the album features the TB303 and the tracks of Hardcore Will Never Die. So we wrote that in our studio in the hope of getting assigned to a new label, which never happened, and we set up our own label. But in the process, you know, the passage of time, a couple of years had passed, and by the time we set up our own label, we had wrote even more music. And we released an album called The Hour of Chaos on our own label. And Hardcore Will Never Die just kind of, again, back then we were writing that much music, you just kind of sat it to the side and went and focused on your new music. So that album was totally forgotten about. I found it in lockdown, and I just fucking couldn't believe that we'd never get round to releasing this music. And the things that excited me about, you know, I'd done a few sort of ultrasonic tours of Australia, UK, Europe, and really get excited about the music, and then finding all this original old school music that hadn't been released was fucking blowing my mind.
Yes.
You know, like, so that this is old school music that you've never heard.
Yeah, beautiful.
Love
Love
it's
it.
a mad.
And how's everyone like reacted to it? Like, is it been a success?
Yeah, it was. Again, I was just going to print up some CDs and put it out, and on the Ultrasonic Facebook page, loads of people were saying, "Oh, mate, you should put it on vinyl." And I was like, "Listen, it's a fucking global pandemic. I don't want to spend a lot of money putting out vinyl."
Yep.
And they were like, Kickstarter. I spoke to a couple of friends, Mike Wells from Force Mass Motion and Ian Bland from Dream Frequency,
Beautiful.
who had both.
Ian was going to come on and give you a little surprise hello, but he's actually got stuck with some studio time.
Yeah, he'll be in the studio, man. He's flat out.
So he's told me to send you a message, give you a message, and
Yeah.
I hope I get this right. It's yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
You'll get it.
that's your call sign. So, I mean, Ian's a diamond. You know, I've been friends with Ian since the early 90s, and so we'd been speaking about this Kickstarter thing to fund new music, and then people were saying online, you know, do a Kickstarter, we'll support it. So I thought, fuck it, yeah, if it gets on. I still strongly believe in having a tangible product. I don't like the idea of the cloud because you never really own your music. You know, if you have a CD or a vinyl, you know, again, you're looking at the artwork, and it's all becoming something real.
Yeah.
So I done it, and in 3 days it smashed the fucking the funds that I needed to put it on vinyl, and it just sort of blew up. And I have to say, I think about half of the sales were overseas in Australia. You know, like you guys fucking have been huge supporters of Ultrasonic, and it showed in the orders that was flying in. So it became a real thing, and a label. I got it all digitally remastered, and it sounds fucking.
So to tell you the truth, Bossy and I have been chatting, and we would like to buy a copy of that album and give it away on our show for Australian Underground Sounds, MK Bossy Show. So if we could get a signed autographed version from yourself, if you'd be happy to, and we'll stick you the bill and send it over here, and we'll do a little comp and give it to one of our viewers. I'm sure they'd love to get their hands on it, including myself.
Yeah.
So,
I'd love to get my hands on that actually, but
Yeah. Well, we can talk. I can send some stuff over. The fucking downside about COVID again, and you guys being so far away, is the postage is fucking ridiculous. You know, to send vinyl. I don't know what it's like for you guys if you're ordering stuff overseas, and then you're getting hit with some huge fucking postal bill, man.
And it takes 5-6 weeks to
and then the boat gets stuck in the port, and
try to do a 3-point turner in that fucking canal.
Yeah. So we were looking to give it away on this podcast actually, but we just knew there was no way that it was getting over here. We'll speak afterwards, and if we can get a copy signed by yourself, and we'll give it away on one of our shows. I'm sure one of the viewers would be, thrilled to have it. So fantastic.
Just while we're talking about that, we might just quickly bring up your merchandise. We've got some of that merchandise there.
I like
for everyone that wants to get on to the Ultrasonic official page and have a look around there, because there's some pretty cool stuff. I want to get one of those beanies for this week's for this year's snow season. I have one of those Ultrasonic beanies, so
I'll get something organised in the package I send over.
Yeah, that'll be great. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, the merchandise thing, again, that kind of so bizarrely, again, with the time, I built an official Ultrasonic website, and I had always been selling sort of merchandise, and again through lockdown, even the support from people buying, because the album, putting an album out was great, just as in getting an income to buy me more time to focus on the music, because this is, making and playing music's my full-time job and has been for since the 90s. So even somebody buying a cap, a hat, a t-shirt, it's all helped so much more than people realize, you know, because if somebody's buying a t-shirt, it's the equivalent of buying an album, and I appreciate that, you know, and the fact it's coming from my online store, there's no like a shop or a middleman then giving me 20 pence or 50 cents on a sale, you know. It's like I'm very much so putting it together and receiving you know, the money, which is helping me continue through a fucking shite time, you know, without giving it the full sad story. But we've all had, you know, we've all had sacrifices to make during this time, you know.
Definitely the whole world. So let's move along. Give us a crazy fan moment. You got a crazy fan moment you've had? A stalker, maybe. Or...
the crazy, a good story. Your best crazy fan that's been, you know, fanboy or fangirl, and then also your worst stalker crazy fan. What have you experienced in your time?
I'll get the heavy one out the way, which fucking scarred me mentally.
This is great. Go for it.
It was at a festival in Germany. We ended up hanging about with, you know, there was a group of us hanging about. It's like the first time, you know, you're hanging about with people who were fucking German for a start, and the language barrier and all that. And so we got good friends during the course of a weekend festival, swap numbers. And so I get home, and then I get a phone call from one of the group who could speak the best English. And they said, you better get over here because one of the girls has tried to kill themselves. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, she really wants to see you. And because you can't come over and see her, she's tried to kill herself. And I was like, fuck, what? You know, this is like 94, 95, and I'm still quite young and going, what the fuck? You know, it wasn't even like she was my girlfriend or anything. It was just a girl who was like in the group. But she must have thought I was like some fucking multi-millionaire jet setter who had a jet that could just fly over because I was playing at some festival. So I was like trying to book flights to go over and see a girl who'd ultimately try to kill herself because I wouldn't visit her.
Oh God!
I booked flights. And at the time it wasn't even cheap to fly, you know, cross country and stuff like that. And
you actually booked
the date. Yeah. I was like freaking out. I was like, fucking hell, because of me, she's fucking trying to kill herself. So I try to go over, and then the day I'm flying out, the girl phones me. My studio was my home, and the actual my phone was in my studio / bedroom. So I'm getting ready to go, and the phone goes, and she went, listen, in broken English, obviously. The girl who told me her friend had killed herself went, I just want you to know, I don't want a part of this. She told me to say this so as you would come and visit her. So she made the full thing up. That she was,
oh my God.
She fucking tried to kill herself. And that fucked me mentally, you know, like I was just thinking, and you know, that so early on in my career, how people could use that against you, you know. So like, so there's a nice cheery fucking heavy story. So that after that, my guard was kind of up as into who I let into the gang, you know. It was fucked.
Wow.
So that's a warning for you, you know what I mean?
Look, that's the warm up. Have you got a nice bloody story for us?
A nice story.
A nice story. You know, I saw you sign a few tits and a few fucking whatever else is back in your day.
I mean, there's just so many. It's just a fucking blur, you know. Like, which is good coming to Australia to tie you guys back in. When I meet people who come to shows in Australia and they say thank you for coming and coming all this way, I really feel. It always gets me every time because I feel like they know how far you've travelled to come to the show. Yes. They know it's not just I got the bus here or I fucking got my friend to drop me off. It's like fucking thank you for coming. And that always gets me, you know. And everybody's saying safe flight and stuff like that. I don't enjoy travelling. I don't enjoy flying. So things like that really get me. I try to think of something funny, but there's been that much mad shit. It's just a fucking mush.
Fine. We're going to move on to a bit of stuff. Right?
What about we move
after my suicide chat?
Bossy, what we'll go into maybe his podcast now, and then we'll go. Bossy, you want to talk about his? You talk about his
painting because you actually got me with that one. Yeah. So the hashtag show with Scott Gibson.
Yeah.
I started watching some episodes, and man,
you need a translator. You wouldn't understand it.
Well, that was the first thing. Like, I found one where you were actually singing, and I could understand you were doing some stupid little drumming song, and I kept going on with it. But look, before we go on with it, we've got a little clip to show everyone that hasn't actually seen it. So
how crazy you are, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Bring on the interpreter.
Yeah.
Do you think Hitler's bunker was the first man cave?
Hitler's bunker was the first lodge.
Yeah, Adolf, is that a photo of the Queen behind you? It is indeed, my boy. It is indeed. He's one of us lads. The House of Hanover.
Can you imagine being an IBM engineer getting sent out to fucking Auschwitz or Dachau to go and service a machine? Where is he staying here, boys?
The less we sell you, the better for you. Yeah, boys, enough I smell like gas. Quiet, move along to the computer. Before you know it, he's just sitting in the fucking couch with him all watching the All-Firm game.
Sitting with the big stein, the big massive pint glass. And with all the Nazis.
He's hair on a wee side shed.
One of the Nazis is just goose stepping with a pair of fucking suspenders on in front of the telly. He's sitting there.
A pair of slippers.
Adolf, do you know George Alberts?
Oh, listen, if you can't laugh at genocide, what can you laugh at?
The hashtag show.co.uk.
Mate, you guys are looking like you're having a ball there. What do you say?
Actually, a funny person, or does
goodness.
Scott Gibson bring that out? Yeah, like he.
I think it's for anybody who doesn't know, Scott Gibson is one of Scotland's finest stand-up comedians.
Yep.
I think he was the first Scottish comedian to win the Edinburgh Festival's sort of comedy award, and so we'd been friends. From me being a fan, going to his show, helped him set up, which at the start was to be his own podcast, and then he was like, "You want to do it with me?" And I was like, "Mate, I'll show you," because I had been doing mine. I was like, "I'll show you how it's set up. It's so easy."
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, "Oh, come on and do it with me." And I was like, "Well, what am I going to do?" I mean, what about we'll play music as well? So it started as that. And with another friend, Gary Little, who's another sort of really celebrated Scottish legendary comedian. So the three of us just basically sat down and talked shit and recorded it and had a laugh. It's very, we don't make any allowances for the way we speak. It's full Scots colloquialism. It's anti, it's just saying what you want, and that's what I like about it. It's like, if you're offended, don't listen, and this PC sort of culture, it's kind of
I heard one little episode, you were talking about school teachers, and everyone's got a story about a school teacher that has a relationship with the students. Like, there's always that.
Yeah, anybody you speak to any school, they have got a story, whether it's true or not, that somebody has shagged one of the teachers, and it's always, it's either but it gets a bit blood and a bit creepy, but we will enjoy and celebrate the fact that we'll talk about things that's a bit taboo, and that's what's good about it. It's kind of like anything is up for being shot down, and it's just fun to do.
Love it.
It's just, and it's and actually doing it through lockdown for both of us, just even for our mental health, it's been great to sit and chat and laugh, because
fantastic.
It's fucking hard enough,
It's
so
healing, isn't it?
To laugh.
It's contagious. It's healing. It's fucking excellent. Oh, this is why I like what a lot of podcasts, comedy ones. As well. With Joe Rogan, bloody Brendan Sharp, Chris, what's his name?
Mallorca Lee,
Chris D'Elia. No, I'm talking about full comedians and Bill Burr and stuff. And this is why, Scott Gibson.
Everyone needs to laugh.
We do.
So on top of that, you're doing your XL podcast as well, fortnightly. And that's more about music, yeah?
Yeah, well, again, about 3-4 years ago, I sort of get bored with the DJ Mix podcast, and I was just going to rap doing the podcast, and I had been doing we've been doing the hashtag show now for about 6 years, and I just enjoyed the spoken word, and again enjoying, like you mentioned, like Rogan's podcast and stuff like that, and just slowly being aware of enjoying audio and it not being music. So I was like, I either just bin the podcast, because like, if you guys had said to me, you want to do a DJ mix for a show, I'm not interested in that, because I've fucking done it that many times. I don't get any enjoyment out of mixing a set in my house. I get enjoyment of mixing a set in front of a crowd. I still enjoy listening to music and finding new music, but there's no fun in. And I know that sounds quite shite, if you're a young guy who just wants to mix every day. But so I came to a point, I was like, I can't be bothered doing a DJ mix podcast anymore. That genre is milked. So I was going to bin it, and then I thought, fuck it, you know what I'll do? I will talk to the people who have inspired me about their journey through music. So I've done that about 3 years ago. And I've interviewed about 30 people, guys like legends like Frank the Wolf and Shades of Rhythm, Ian from Dream Frequency, a lot of Scottish guys, and just basically, again, it was almost like therapy, they and it's brilliant chatting to them about what got them into music from the very start to where they are now. And again, it's a couple of guys having a conversation, the passion comes out, and then the listener gets to see the story, the ups and downs that guy has been through, and then it just ignited my passion again for podcasts. So I enjoy that a lot more. It's still something I'm very passionate about, electronic dance music and music in general. So, and
this is exactly why Bossy and I are doing it. Because it fuels our passion, but in a different way. It expresses our love for music, but it's just in a different sense. And it's about, because we're all getting older now, and it's about connecting to people that want to listen, that want to know sort of some of the history about it, and then going on some little rant that just goes way left field and off the wall. That becomes hilarious. That's what it should be about. It's about fun times. So yeah.
100%.
It's crazy. After you agreed to come on the show, I did a bit of research on you and stuff, and like the most fascinating thing, which I can't believe I'm saying this, is your painting, your passion for painting. Like, it's next level. And I watched a clip. I watched a clip, and I had to just get a bit of that clip and put it on the show for everyone to see, because it's just crazy. The way you explain it and what it means to you is like those next four level. Dots. Those 4 dots, that's crazy. So so we're going to show that bit, and then we might have a bit of a chat about that.
Let's run the tape.
VT.
I just think music and painting and making things, it's just all the same thing. You're just making things for nothing. When I get frustrated writing music, which happens more and more as I get older, I need to get all the noise out of my head, and painting's a good way of doing that, because I broke too many keyboards in the past through frustration, and this was just throwing paints about and stuff. I don't use brushes, like, I don't know how to write music, I'm very much feeling my way through it. I take that to the painting as well. I don't know how to paint, I'm just doing what I want to do. I made the decision not to use paintbrushes and just use my hands, because I just felt like if I use a paintbrush, I would be trying to be an artist, what I'm not, I'm just, same with music, I was just feeling about for it, and I had fun making it, and I just got everything, out onto the canvas, without sounding silly, but it was just a fun process. This is the first painting that I've ever done, which is just a big happy mess. I could bore you with what it means to me, but it's just everything. It's just my wee universe kind of thing, and it's important to me because it's my first ever attempt at a large painting, and I like it. And there was a screw in the floor that I picked up, and I put 4 dots to represent my wife and I and the 2 kids, and since then every painting's had the 4 dots, and that's where the motif comes from. We don't own the music that we buy anymore. It's in the cloud. You know, what's the cloud? You know, I want a vinyl, I want a CD. It's almost like somebody's got something again, you know, that they own, it's theirs. It's no in the cloud. You can't download a painting.
Wow.
Very serious.
Absolutely bloody
You like my new studio. So,
I like it, man. I like it.
look, the first thing I need to ask about that, like, besides, you know, obviously how close you are with your family and all that, are they acid trips or what? Like, what's the go on those? Is there any inspiration from like I see a lot of your paintings? They got strawberries on them. They got like there's a lot of familiar pictures.
That's just you, Bossy. That's just you.
Well, the ones above your shoulder.
Yep.
They're actually prints of photographs I took of LSD blotting paper trips. You know, actual real.
They
acid.
were. Oh my god.
They are.
So and I think what's important about that project that I done is that was like, you know, I almost see like, you know, I don't know what it was like in Australia, if you're aware of those images like strawberries and ohms and
yes, very,
you know, sunrise. The actual art on the blotters of LSD was almost like pop art for me.
Yep.
So it's like again, I can get lost in this kind of stuff because the imagery is iconic, but then when you look at what the actual drug does, you know, as in, you know, freeing the mind and, you know, in certain areas, making people a wee bit more creative or realizing the beauty in the simple things.
Yep.
So it was just all that. And that was me just celebrating those iconic
era.
And the music and everything, what it all meant from the 60s to the 80s to the 90s. So it was a celebration of iconic imagery and what the connections with that. But they were more prints. My paintings, again, like my music, it's unapologetic. I'm into it, and if you like it, great. But it's not why I do it. You know, I know a lot of people will be like, "Fuck, my kid could do that," you know. But
yeah,
I'm just like, this is what I do.
A bit where you're saying, you know, putting forever. Like when I've tried with MK over here to produce music, and you know, spent 24 hours straight in the shed, and it's really good at one stage, and then for the next 6 hours, it just turns into rubbish, and it's like, what the hell? And then throw it away, and then it's like you just want to blow the place up. But you're saying you can do that. You can walk over and grab some paint and throw it at a bit of paper, and that makes you feel better.
Yeah, I mean, writing music as anybody who does it, you know, it's like there's no quick way to do it. You know, if you're passionate about it, it's something that consumes you. And for me, it starts with something I've got in my head that I need to get out my head. And if I can't get that out of my head, it can bring me down. You know, it's no enjoyable process when you want to make something and you can't. And I've broke hundreds of machines. I've fell out with people. It either happens or the process of try to make it happen is painful's a bit dramatic, but it's not a good feeling.
It's one of the most frustrating arts that you can do, and I really think this painting thing that you got going on that Bossy showed me is phenomenal, and the 4 dots. It's like we watched the paintings, and they're amazing. But those 4 dots, they stand out because your paintings are so abstract. And Bossy said to me straight away, he goes, "That's what I noticed, Chaos. They're just those 4 dots for the family. There's some sort of connection that's going on there that makes it so deep. Maybe it's your family spirit, you know, that's entwined in that or not." I just got a message on my phone from Jacko that you looked after in Queensland and stuff. You know, there he is there. If I can get the camera on it, and he's sitting there. That's the guy. That's the guy you looked after, and he's sitting there with one of your paintings. I think He sent me. I think he sent me 2. So he's got all your stuff as well. So he's a diehard fan. Shout out to you, Jacko. He's watching now. So he'll be at your next show if you ever bloody do one. Yeah.
So he got all to, at this day and age, if you had to choose between painting and music, what would you choose?
I don't see it as a choice. I think they go hand in hand. I think ultimately it's just creating something out of nothing.
Mal, I think you're painting and as we're getting older and you've done the music thing and everything like that. I was saying to Bossy today, I think, or maybe it was Derek last night. I just said, if you went to go over to painting from your music, I wouldn't question you, and I would just go, it's just part of your maturity, and you're just expressing in another way. If you can do both, then that's amazing. But
I think you're the multitasking master, with what everything you've got.
What's coming through and channeling you through at the moment is in that art is just, dude, that is next level. Like, your music is really good, but I think your painting is it's up there, mate. Yeah, I think it's almost better. I think it's like phases of times. I just think, holy shit! It's the evolution of what you're going through. It's like all your wisdom and all your learnings and teachings, and dude, it's pretty spectacular. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, it's
that's at Mallorca Lee paintings. Is that correct? Is that the?
Yeah, I've got a wee Facebook page, Mallorca Lee paintings. I mean, like you were saying, to pick one, it'd be so hard because I wrote an album called Acid and Eve, and I went back to acid house music, and I used the original drum machines and bass lines, and I came away from computer sequenced it on the original machines like I would have done late 80s. And then I decided I would paint the artwork for that album. And in doing the artwork, I ended up mixing chemicals, and it was all about chemical reactions within the paint. Then I'll get lost for about a year doing this painting project. So the album sat aside.
Right.
But it just felt like the same trip for me, I had to go down that road, and I made all these paintings, and then I had the album artwork, and it went with the music, and it just all just be, and then I thought, no, it's not about music and painting, it's just a big art project kind of thing. And it's, I guess, if you write music or if you make something, it's the journey, from starting it to finish it, and that's just that's the enjoyment, rather than going, oh, that's that and that's this, and try to compartmentalize everything. It's just it's like this full thing. It's a fucking, it's a dance. It's no a fucking start and an end in it. It's just like everything in between.
So looking forward, where's Mallorca Lee heading? Like, what's in the future? Pipeline.
I've been fortunate enough to be inspired through lockdown to writing new music. I also had a hard drive crash, and I lost about half an ultrasonic album, half of my own album. So that was a punch in the face from the hard drive gods. So I started again. There'll be again my Acid and Eve album, which I went back to the start with Acid House. I've been buying and fixing my old synths, and I'm going to do a rave setup and write an album with all the old original instruments, which, yes, you could do it on the synths and soft synths, but for me it's all about going back to how I used to do it, and staying true with that. So there's going to be like a new ultrasonic album. There's some really interesting collaborations I've been working on, which I don't really want to say too much about. One of them's on Ian's album, Dream Frequency 30 album, which the two of us had such a blast doing that, and again, it was like trying to do something. If you think ultrasonic and Dream Frequency, what would that sound like? That was the drive. So yeah, that was a good collaboration. So just music.
You're having some fun with it, and
yeah, I mean, the great thing about the old sounding music is to write music just now. I think a lot of people are just copying what other people are doing,
Mhm.
and that's no creative. That's
You
just
got to say it takes time to get that flair. I think that's how we all learn. Would you think this right now? Like,
I mean, there is the learning curve, and again,
Mhm.
it is something I'll say.
But
If
you've got to
somebody's like,
get
I'm
your
trying
own
to write
style.
music,
You've got to get your own sound, like Nilix from Psytrance, and just you need your own sound, and I think that takes time. And just like your paintings, and this is what I see in your painting. I just see that that you've got your own flair in that, and it is so bloody special that it's not funny, and it takes and I like to say where you said that you're not trying to paint a certain way, you're not trying to do, you're just being you, and you're expressing yourself at your best, and I think that is the best way for somebody. There's no labels, you're just doing you, but it takes it takes a lot of time, patience, and wisdom and life experience to get that in, whether it's in music, whether it's in painting. So
no, I
so to
totally
say that
agree,
people are copying people, I think it's to get to that point that I suppose that let's say that you're at is it takes how many decades?
there is. I mean, I hope I never came across as pretentious by saying
no,
that.
not at all. Not at all.
What I mean is, if your goal in starting out is to sound like someone else, that's a very dangerous thing. I understand there's been inspired by someone or some things, because we all are, but then you very quickly have to realize that you need to be doing your own thing rather than being in the shadow of someone else, and for anybody, if you're a DJ, if you're a fucking magician, if you're a street artist, if you're a painter, whatever it is you're doing, it's that pursuit of doing your own thing, and that danger of, wait a minute, I'm out on my own here, I could fail at any minute. I think it's only then when you're not scared to fail, because then it's just the pursuit of what you want to do that's your focus. That's when you do your best stuff. Yes, there's a learning and there's a being inspired, dare I say it, copying other people.
Yes, 100%.
But you need to get to that deep water where you, at any minute, you could fucking go under. But essentially, you are doing your own thing, and that's the hard bit to get to. I get that. It doesn't happen overnight.
It's super hard.
You need years, decades, fucking, some people maybe never achieve it.
100%. Yeah, you're exactly right. And now you're speaking to all the musos and artists or creative people out there. It's very true. It doesn't matter what you do. It's some people never make it, and it's about those deep waters. I love the realness. This is fantastic.
I don't consider, I've never called myself a musician, because my daughter's learned the piano, and that to me is a musician.
So she plays all your melodies for you.
I wish, that's my plan. I wish I could play more, but what I can do is enough for me to do what I do. Maybe if I was a musician, I wouldn't have been able to write the music I do, because the mistakes are part of what makes it mine. I never call myself an artist, because I couldn't draw an apple or a building or a face. It would be a fucking mess. But I could draw or paint my interpretation of that and stand behind it and say, that's mine. Because I know that I couldn't do.
Love it.
I celebrated like a real somebody who's went and studied at college and who I really call an artist. I can't stand beside them and call myself an artist. I'm just me fucking doing what I want to do, and you either like it or you don't, but that's not why I do it.
Yeah, sure. Listen, we're starting to get deep now, but before we get too deep and before we end the show, and this has been great to have you on. Just for the artists out there that are writing music, are you Mac, PC, you're running Ableton, Cubase, Logic? What are you a fanboy from the early ages? And did you also change over time from whatever platform?
When I started writing music, it was linear sequencing. It was sequencing on keyboards. When you fucking had to add up 16s and 32s and all that and bars. It was crazy. Almost like with a calculator to program your song out.
Yes.
Then with I was one of the first to jump onto like computer sequencing with the Atari Amigas, and Cubase was my first DAW of.
Was it? Okay.
Not even choice. That was the one that was like fucking the bad boy to have. And then
right,
early
Did
to
you go to
late.
Pro Tools?
No, I hated Pro Tools. What I seen of it, I felt like, again, that was maybe too musician and too muso for me, Pro Tools. I never had a clear understanding of it at the time. So it was always Cubase, and then from Cubase I moved over to Logic because I really enjoyed the effects that Logic had, specifically at the time, the tape delays and all that I fucking loved. So I'm still now, I've dipped into Ableton, I've dipped into Machine from Native Instruments.
And what do you think of those?
I think they're fucking great tools, and I think it's good for quickly realising your ideas and getting something started.
Gotcha.
But my mainstay is Logic, just because I kind of know it, but I don't know everything it can do. You're always learning with that. I'm always finding.
So it's always expanding too. New releases, new updates.
I don't sign up to. You know, I'm always amazed with Ian Bland. I talk to Ian almost on a daily basis, and he's so clued up on his plugins and soft synths.
Yeah,
and I think all that in itself is just too much brain work for me. You know, it's like I'm almost maybe lazy where I stick to the sort of soft synths that I know, which is Waves plugins.
I was going to say, do you use Waves? We appreciate your and respect your honesty on the show too, because you know, even myself, I get lazy in those sort of things as well. Diva, and I've got a Moog keyboard that I use. But yeah, you do get stuck with what you know. You know, there's the top 4 or 5 synths that you get used to. I'm an Ableton user, but then you have those brainiacs that are, you know, they're always keeping up with what's going on. So
which is great, but it's like fucking hell, man. I don't have enough brains to
or
keep
time
on top
or
of that
family.
shit, man.
It's complicated.
It's a world of pain. It's a world of pain. It's a world of chaos.
But recently, I've been investing back in hardware again. I think what Behringer's been doing, if you're aware of Behringer, you know, reissuing like a very cheap TB, the 303 clones,
the
which are
TB
fucking
303 Bossy, you know, the one Bossy bought that. He's got that.
They're like €125 or something they're selling for it, and I would call anyone a liar if they told you they could tell the difference. The drum machines they do are amazing. The synths they do are amazing, and all at a great price, which is encouraging for young, up and coming or established artists to invest in hardware again. That's certainly got me excited with just the full hardware. You know, there's one there. You know, they've done a limited edition. I've got all the stuff. It's great to use it again.
But do you use the VST instead of the actual, or you like using the hardware?
Well, again, the Roland Cloud is fucking amazing. If anybody out there's loving their vintage Roland stuff, check it out. It's like, I think it's something like $12 a month, and you get everything: Juno 106s, Jupiters, 303s, 909s, 808s, and again for it's just that Roland's, I think they call it DAC, it's their digital version of analog. It's fucking amazing, man, and you can pretty much do it if you got a powerful enough laptop. You've got everything you need, you know, to make music, you know. And again, if you've got the ideas, you don't need to have fucking a lot of stuff, man, you know. A set of headphones, a computer, and you're away.
From up here to onto there. That's
it is very different.
If it was just a lead, you could fucking
if I could plug it in.
The Matrix is not here just yet.
I know, man. That's the thing, isn't it?
Patch me into Ableton, patch me into Logic.
Download that guy who knows everything about Ableton. That would be great. But then again, what you find is sometimes, or what I've noticed is, if you're working with someone who knows everything, let's say Ableton, he knows Ableton inside out, knows every trick, knows every shortcut, knows all the amazing things that it can do. that's where maybe his knowledge is. He needs somebody who is maybe got a creative flair and let's do this. What about that? How can we bring that? You know, like sometimes the tech guy isn't the creative guy, and that's how you get duos working really
you're
well.
either creative or you're the other side, aren't you? You're the guy that knows how to produce, production and doing the music and engineer it really well. And then all those shortcut keyboards, but then you've got the creative soul. That's where I see myself and obviously yourself through your painting and your music. That you need those people that can look outside that box or and just come up with something unique and go, no, I want to do this, and they're like, it's would you agree, or are you the? Yep,
totally agree. I mean. You heard of it's a German band, early rave band called Alien Factory. They were quite big in Australia.
Yeah, they were sick.
Yeah, so we spent some time in Australia touring with the guys and doing some gigs in Europe, and we got really friendly with those guys. And that's when we were all like just fucking stoned and talking shit at night and stuff. And
yeah.
And that was when we all kind of realised that you kind of need for a duo to work. You need one guy. It's kind of like the fucking brain, and another guy that's kind of the loose cannon. And
cool. My manager.
There's some kind of magic that works there. When they're both pulling each other, and out of it you get the best of both worlds.
Actually, yes, you do. You do.
There you go, man. Yeah, I mean,
you do. And Jason Midrow, shout out to you, Mark Midrow. Like you do, you need somebody that's the loose cannon, and you need somebody that's holds it all together.
Yeah,
don't know anyone like that, Damien.
So that's where Bossy and I are, and I've been through music. I've been through many experiences like that, and I've just I've got a manager or just hooked up with a girl that runs that sort of stuff as well. So. That does all the promotions and does. She did all these.
Need more than one person that's got their shit together to keep them afloat. So
maybe I need a few. Shout out to you, Deza. Deza's got his stuff together, but it's very true. You have your creative souls, and then you have your loser. I mean, your what do you call them? Together souls. Hectic people. Listen, it's so fair to have you on the show. I've seen so many of your sets and listened to your music. I was a wee lad myself, and then eventually was lucky enough to find myself in that same place and being on tour and playing with sets beside you. So it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. Mallorca Lee, seriously, thank you very much. Keep doing what you're doing. It's a
pleasure having you on the show.
Passion.
Yes, if you
something for us, Bossy?
What's that?
You got something you got something, Dad?
Oh no, I'm just going to say, in the future, if you ever do get back down here, make sure you bring your mountain bike, and there's some pretty cool downhills around this area. So I'd be happy to show you some of them.
Aye, cool. We'll definitely catch up for a beer. I don't know if I can get my bike on the plane, but
well, I thought you got your own jet, haven't you?
Well, it's getting serviced just now, so hopefully it'll be up.
We got spare bikes.
Listen,
thanks heaps for coming on. It's been great show, and we can't wait to see some more of you in the future.
Thanks, boys. This has been great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah, great, mate. Good luck with your podcast and your production and your paintings. And shout out to Ian Bland. And we love you guys. And Scott Gibson, bring it on. We'll speak to you guys next time.
Thank you, guys. Take care and all the best with your shows going forward.
Thank
and
you.
all that.
Thank you.
You lucky motherfuckers getting to do gigs, man.
Yeah.
We're still sitting in here in our little studios.
Even when I seen the clips and all that, just seeing people going nuts to dance music again, it was just a joy to see, So I keep it up, man. Smash it.
Yeah, wicked. Well, yeah, hope to hear from you soon or see you even sooner. So Derek wants to jump on in, and he's a bit of a fanboy as well. So
Yeah. So I just wanted to say, look, some of us here have had the privilege to be able to even play at some of your gigs in different cities of this country. So thank you for everything that you've done for our scene here. And I particularly remember you guys playing at an Every Picture Tells a Story party here, Every Picture 9 in Melbourne. And I was amped as hell for that gig. And I remember you came on, you're like, okay, Melbourne posse. I'm just like, so yeah, thank you very much, mate, for everything you've done, and I hope you keep on doing it because you certainly inspired a lot of people, a lot of us here, and you continue to do so.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. I shall try my best.
No doubt you will, sir. No doubt you will.
Thank you, Mallorca Lee. We'll speak to you next time. And it was great to hear from you from all over the seas over there from Scottyland. Yes,
that's it. I hope
love the stories too, like just QFX, QTEX, Alien Factory. I'm just like, oh yeah, yes.
Yeah.
That's porn for Derek over here.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's
the boxes.
Jeez.
Wicked. All right, mate. Well, love to have you on the show. That was fucking fantastic. And it's been our pleasure, not yours. Cheers.
Definitely.
No problem, guys. Did I just log out? This is live as well, isn't it?
It is live, mate.
We'll just kick you out.
We'll kick you out. Thank you very much for Ultrasonic fans. That's him. A great interview. We appreciate him being here.
Yeah.
Bossy, another epic show for episode 3, the MK and Bossy show, the Australian Underground Sounds.
Yes, got run a bit overtime today, but that's fine.
Oh, there is no time, homeboy. It's just going with the flow. You know how Chaos rolls. He's the straight. Well, I wouldn't say that, but he's the straight ass. Chaos is a creative loose cannon, and we'll see you all next time for episode 4. And stay tuned to that. Check it out our pages, subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook pages, and we'll see you all soon. Bye for now.
Thanks for watching. Yeah.
Cheers.
Welcome. We just entered the game. Final Fantasy.